Welcome to my channel. Subscribe, listen, and enjoy my stories every day. The soft buzz of my phone jolts me from my thoughts. It's an alert from the GPS tracking app one installed on my car. I glance at the screen, expecting to see the familiar route my wife, Claire, takes to work every day. Instead, I notice an unfamiliar detour. My heart skips a beat. What is she doing? Claire, where are you? I mutter to myself, tapping the screen to zoom in on her location. The GPS shows her car parked at an unknown address for the past 2 hours. My mind races with possibilities. An emergency? A surprise for me? I shake my head, trying to dispel the growing unease. The night is still young, and the city lights twinkle through the windows of our apartment. I sit at the kitchen table, the remnants of dinner still scattered around. The scent of baked lasagna lingers in the air, but I've lost my appetite. Claire had claimed she needed to work late, a common occurrence lately. But something feels off tonight. The urge to find out what's happening overwhelms me. I grab my keys and head out, determination propelling me towards the mysterious location. The streets blur as I drive, the GPS on my phone guiding me. My thoughts are a whirlwind, alternating between worry and suspicion. I arrive at the address and park a few blocks away, not wanting to draw attention. The building before me is nondescript, blending seamlessly into the urban landscape. But there's a sign on the door, small and discreet, Paradise Lounge. The name sends a chill down my spine. Could this be what I think it is? I hesitate, my mind battling between going inside and turning back. But the need to know the truth wins out. I approach the door, my footsteps echoing in the quiet street. Inside, the lounge is dimly lit, with a haze of smoke and soft music playing in the background. I walk to the bar, trying to act casual. A woman with heavy makeup and a knowing smile greets me. "First time here?" she asks, her voice a purr. "Yeah," I reply, forcing a smile. "Just curious." She eyes me for a moment, then nods. "Let me know if you need anything." I nod back and take a seat, my eyes scanning the room. The place is filled with women, some dancing, some talking to men who look like they've been here before. My heart pounds as I look for Claire, hoping against hope that I won't find her. Then I see her. Claire. My wife. She's sitting with a group of men, laughing and talking, her demeanor so different from the woman I thought I knew. My stomach twists into knots. This isn't just a misunderstanding. This is betrayal. I watch in shock as Claire moves gracefully around the room, her charm and allure captivating everyone she interacts with. She's not here by accident. She's here because she wants to be. The realization hits me like a punch to the gut. Claire is moonlighting at a brothel. My wife, the woman I vowed to love and cherish, is leading a double life. Anger and humiliation bubble up inside me, but I force myself to stay calm. I need a plan. The next day, the drive to the office is a blur. My mind is consumed with thoughts of Claire and the secret she's been hiding. I go through the motions at work, barely registering the tasks in front of me. The need for revenge festers within me, growing stronger with each passing hour. After work, I return to Paradise Lounge. This time, I'm not here to observe. I'm here to gather evidence. I take photos, record conversations, and talk to people who know Claire's secret. Each piece of information is a weapon, a tool I'll use to dismantle her facade. Days turn into weeks as I collect my arsenal, all while pretending nothing has changed. Claire continues her charade, oblivious to the storm brewing. My rage simmers beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment to strike. Then the day comes. I've prepared meticulously, ensuring everything is in place. I leak the evidence to her workplace, our friends, her family. The scandal erupts like wildfire, consuming her reputation and tearing apart the life she's built. Claire's fall from grace is swift and brutal. Her job, her social standing, her self-respect, everything crumbles. She's left with nothing but the bitter taste of her own deceit. And I stand on the sidelines, watching her destruction with cold satisfaction. As Claire's world collapses, mine feels strangely empty. Revenge has its cost, and I'm left to ponder what comes next. But one thing is certain, the woman who once shared my life is gone, and the path ahead is uncharted. The morning air is crisp as I step out of the apartment. Claire's absence is palpable, a void in the space she used to occupy. I head to the cafe on the corner, where I meet my best friend, David. He's already seated, a steaming cup of coffee in front of him. His usual cheerful demeanor fades as he sees the look on my face. "Morning, Mike," he says, concern evident in his eyes. "You look like you didn't sleep at all." "I didn't," I admit, sliding into the chair opposite him. I order a coffee, needing the caffeine to jolt my weary mind into action. "I found out something about Claire." David leans forward, his curiosity piqued. "What is it?" I hesitate, the weight of the revelation heavy on my shoulders. "She's been lying to me, David. 4 months. Maybe longer. She's been working at a brothel." David's eyes widen in shock. "A brothel? Are you serious?" I nod, the anger simmering just below the surface. "I followed her, tracked her movements. She's been living a double life, and I had no idea." David shakes his head, disbelief etched on his face. "Man, that's... I don't even know what to say." "What are you going to do?" "I've already started," I say, my voice hardening. "I'm going to ruin her. She needs to pay for what she's done." David looks at me, concern replacing shock. "Mike, are you sure that's the right move? Revenge might feel good now, but it could backfire. You might end up hurting yourself more." "I don't care," I snap, the bitterness in my voice surprising even me. "She betrayed me, David. She deserves everything that's coming to her." David sighs, knowing better than to argue when I'm in this state. "Just be careful, okay? Don't let this destroy you." I nod, though my mind is already plotting the next steps. I need to gather more information, dig deeper into Claire's secret life. The more I know, the more ammunition I have. Later that day, I head to a tech store downtown. I need better surveillance equipment, something more sophisticated than the GPS tracker. I explain my needs to the store clerk, a young guy named Lucas. He's eager to help, showing me various options. "This one is top of the line," Lucas says, holding up a small device. "It's got audio and video recording, motion detection, and it's easy to hide. Perfect for what you're describing." I purchase the device, my mind already racing with plans. The next step is to install it in Claire's car, but I need to be discreet. If she catches on, everything could fall apart. I wait until nightfall, when Claire is usually out. The parking lot is dark, and I move quickly, installing the device under the driver's seat. It's small and well hidden, unlikely to be discovered. As I finish, I hear footsteps approaching. I freeze, my heart pounding. A figure emerges from the shadows, and I recognize him immediately. It's Tony, one of Claire's colleagues from the lounge. He's a burly man with a menacing presence, and he's clearly spotted me. "What the hell are you doing?" Tony growls, stepping closer. "Just checking on the car," I say, trying to sound casual. "It's been making a weird noise." Tony narrows his eyes, suspicion clear on his face. "You better not be causing trouble, pal. Claire's a friend, and I don't take kindly to people messing with her." I force a smile, my mind racing for an escape. "No trouble here. Just a concerned husband." Tony grunts, clearly not convinced, but he walks away. I breathe a sigh of relief, finishing my task quickly before heading back to the apartment. The next few days are a blur of surveillance and gathering evidence. The device captures conversations, movements, everything. I listen to hours of recordings, piecing together Claire's activities and connections. One evening, as I'm reviewing the latest footage, my phone buzzes. It's a message from Emily, Claire's sister. We haven't spoken much since the scandal broke, and her reaching out now surprises me. "Mike, can we talk? It's urgent." Curiosity and caution war within me, but I agree to meet her at a nearby park. Emily arrives, looking tense and worried. She's always been the level-headed one, the mediator in family disputes. "Mike, I don't know what's going on, but Claire is in deep trouble," she says, skipping the pleasantries. "I know," I reply, my voice cold. "I found out about her secret life." Emily looks at me, her eyes pleading. "Mike, she's been involved with some dangerous people. I'm scared for her. For all of us." I feel a pang of unease. This is more than I anticipated. "What do you mean?" "She owes money to some very bad people," Emily explains, her voice trembling. "I think that's why she started working at the brothel. To pay off her debts." My mind races, the pieces of the puzzle falling into place. Claire's deceit, her secret life, it's all connected to something bigger, something darker. And now I'm entangled in it too. I need to find out more, I say, determination hardening my resolve. If there are people threatening her, I need to know who they are. Emily nods, relief and fear mingling in her expression. "Be careful, Mike. This isn't just about revenge anymore. It's about survival." As I walk back to my car, Emily's words echo in my mind. The path I've chosen is fraught with danger, but there's no turning back now. Claire's betrayal has set off a chain of events that can't be undone, and I'm determined to see it through to the end. In the shadows of the night, the lines between justice and vengeance blur, and the stakes grow higher with each passing day. The truth is out there, waiting to be uncovered, and I will stop at nothing to find it. The sun has barely risen when I find myself driving back to the seedy side of town, my mind racing with thoughts of Claire and the new information Emily provided. If Claire is in debt to dangerous people, this changes everything. I'm no longer just seeking revenge. I need to understand the full scope of her situation. I pull up to Paradise Lounge and park a safe distance away. The streets are quiet, a stark contrast to the chaos that lurks beneath the surface. I need to find Tony again. He seems to know more than he let on, and I have to get him to talk. As I enter the lounge, I spot Tony at the bar, nursing a drink. He looks up and his eyes narrow when he sees me approaching. I brace myself for the confrontation. "Tony," I say, keeping my voice steady. "We need to talk." He smirks, taking a slow sip of his drink. "What's this? Husband of the year coming to check on his wife again?" "This isn't a joke," I snap, my patience thin. "I know Claire is in trouble, and I need to know what kind of mess she's involved in." Tony's smirk fades, replaced by a more serious expression. He looks around, making sure no one is eavesdropping. "Fine. Follow me." We move to a back room, away from prying eyes. Tony sits down, gesturing for me to do the same. The room is dimly lit, the walls adorned with old photographs and cheap decorations. "Claire owes a lot of money," Tony begins, his tone grim. "To people you don't want to mess with. She got involved in some bad business deals, and now she's paying the price." "Who are these people?" I ask, leaning forward. "And how much does she owe?" Tony shakes his head. "I don't know all the details, but I know it's serious. We're talking about loan sharks and organized crime. Claire's been trying to pay them off by working here, but it's not enough." My mind reels with the implications. Claire's double life isn't just a betrayal, it's a desperate attempt to save herself from a threat far greater than I imagined. "Why didn't she tell me?" I murmur, more to myself than to Tony. "She probably thought she could handle it on her own," Tony replies. Or maybe she was trying to protect you. Who knows? I stand up, determination hardening my resolve. I need to find out more. Who can I talk to? Tony hesitates, then nods. There's a guy named Vito. He's one of the enforcers. If anyone knows what's going on, it's him. But be careful. Vito doesn't play nice. I thank Tony and leave the lounge, my next step's clear. I need to find Vito and get answers. The stakes are higher now, and I can't afford to let fear hold me back. I spend the next few days tracking Vito, piecing together his routines and haunts. It's risky, but I have no choice. My investigation leads me to a rundown warehouse on the outskirts of town, a place where Vito is known to conduct business. I park a safe distance away and wait, my heart pounding. Finally, I see Vito emerge from the building, flanked by two burly men. He's tall and imposing, with a cold, calculating demeanor. I wait until they leave before slipping inside. The warehouse is dark and musty, filled with crates and old machinery. I move cautiously, searching for any clues. In the corner, I find a small office, the door slightly ajar. Inside, papers are scattered across a desk, and I quickly start rifling through them. I find ledgers, lists of names, and payment records. My blood runs cold as I spot Claire's name, alongside a substantial debt amount. This is worse than I thought. As I continue searching, I hear footsteps approaching. Panic sets in. I hide behind a stack of crates, holding my breath. Vito enters the office, talking on his phone. Yeah, the debts need to be collected. No exceptions. He pauses, listening. Claire. She's running out of time. If she doesn't pay up soon, we'll make an example out of her. Fear and anger course through me. Claire is in grave danger, and I need to act fast. As Vito leaves, I slip out of my hiding place and make a quick exit. The information I've gathered is crucial, but it's only the beginning. I drive straight to David's apartment, my mind racing with plans. He answers the door, surprise and concern on his face. Mike, what's going on? I need your help, I say, pushing past him into the living room. Claire's in deeper trouble than we thought. I found out she owes money to some dangerous people, and they're threatening her life. David's eyes widen. What are you planning to do? We need to find a way to pay off her debt or get these guys off her back, I reply, my voice determined. I can't do this alone, and I need someone I can trust. David nods, his loyalty unwavering. I'm in. Whatever you need. Together, we start devising a plan. We need money, and lots of it. We consider our options, loans, selling assets, anything to gather enough to pay off the debt. But it's not just about the money. We also need to find a way to deal with Vito and his men, to ensure they leave Claire alone for good. The days blur as we work tirelessly, pooling our resources and making preparations. I keep a close watch on Claire, using the surveillance equipment to monitor her movements and ensure she's safe. The tension is unbearable, but we push through, driven by the need to save her. Finally, the day comes. We've gathered enough money, and we're ready to confront Vito. David and I arrive at the warehouse, the weight of our mission heavy on our shoulders. We enter, the dim light casting eerie shadows on the walls. Vito is waiting, his expression unreadable. You must be Claire's husband, he says, his voice cold. What do you want? We're here to settle her debt, I say, handing over the briefcase filled with money. This should cover everything she owes. Vito opens the briefcase, his eyes gleaming as he counts the cash. Impressive. But money isn't the only issue here. Claire's actions have consequences. What do you mean? I ask, a knot of fear tightening in my chest. Her betrayal, Vito replies, his tone menacing. She tried to cheat us, and that's not something we can overlook. She needs to be taught a lesson. My blood runs cold. This isn't just about the money. Vito wants to make an example out of Claire, to send a message to others who might think of crossing him. David steps forward, his voice firm. We're not here to negotiate. You have your money, and we expect you to leave Claire alone. Vito smirks, clearly amused. You've got guts. I'll give you that. But this isn't over. If Claire steps out of line again, there will be no second chances. We leave the warehouse, the weight of Vito's threat hanging over us. The immediate danger might be averted, but the shadow of his retribution lingers. Claire's secret life has put us all in peril, and the path ahead is fraught with uncertainty. As we drive back, the reality of our situation settles in. This isn't just about revenge anymore. It's about survival. And I'm determined to protect Claire, no matter the cost. The stakes have never been higher, and the true battle is just beginning. The tension in the air is palpable as David and I drive back from the warehouse. Vito's threat hangs over us like a dark cloud. I know we've bought some time, but the danger is far from over. Claire is still unaware of the lengths we've gone to in order to protect her, and it's time to confront her with the truth. We arrive at the apartment and find Claire sitting on the couch, looking more haggard than I've ever seen her. Her eyes widen in surprise when she sees us both. Mike, David, what's going on? She asks, her voice shaky. I take a deep breath, preparing myself for the confrontation. Claire, we need to talk. About everything. I know about the brothel, the debts, everything. Claire's face pales, and she looks like she might faint. You know. Yes, and we've been trying to fix it, I say, sitting down beside her. We've paid off your debt, but it's not over. Vito still wants to make an example out of you. Tears well up in her eyes, and she covers her face with her hands. I'm so sorry, Mike. I didn't know what else to do. I was desperate. David steps forward, his voice gentle. Claire, we need to know everything. Who are these people you owe, and how did this all start? Through her tears, Claire begins to recount her story. It started with a bad investment. I thought I could make some quick money, but it all went wrong. I borrowed from the wrong people, and the debt kept growing. When they started threatening me, I felt like I had no choice but to work at the brothel to pay them back. I listen, my heart breaking for her. Despite everything, I still love her. We're going to get through this, Claire. But we need a plan to deal with Vito. David nods in agreement. We need to find a way to get him off our backs for good. An idea begins to form in my mind. It's risky, but it might be our only chance. Vito and his men are part of a larger network, right? If we can gather enough evidence against them, we might be able to bring them down. Claire looks at me, hope flickering in her eyes. You mean go to the police? Yes, but we need solid proof. And we need to do it carefully, I reply. If they suspect anything, they could retaliate before we have a chance to act. We spend the next few days laying the groundwork. I use the surveillance equipment to gather more evidence, recording conversations and transactions. David taps into his contacts, finding a detective willing to help us under the radar. Finally, we have enough. Armed with our evidence, we meet with Detective Harris in a secluded park. He's a grizzled veteran, with a look that says he's seen it all. You've got some serious charges here, Harris says, reviewing the evidence. If this holds up, we can bring down Vito and his whole operation. But we need protection, I stress. Vito can't know we're the ones who tipped you off. Harris nods. We'll put you in protective custody until this blows over. But you need to be prepared. This won't be easy. The operation is set in motion. Harris and his team move swiftly, raiding Vito's warehouse and arresting his associates. Vito is caught off guard, his empire crumbling around him. As the dust settles, Claire, David, and I are relocated to a safe house. The relief is overwhelming, but the fear lingers. We wait anxiously for news, the tension almost unbearable. Then, one morning, Harris calls. We've got him. Vito and his men are in custody, and they're not getting out anytime soon. The weight lifts off my shoulders, and I let out a breath I didn't realize I was holding. Thank you, detective. You've saved our lives. It's not over yet, Harris warns. The trial will be tough, and Vito might have connections we don't know about. Stay vigilant. Months pass as we remain in protective custody, but the trial eventually begins. The courtroom is tense, filled with reporters and spectators. Vito glares at us from the defendant's table, his eyes filled with hatred. The prosecution presents our evidence, and one by one, witnesses testify against Vito. The case is airtight, and the jury delivers a guilty verdict. Vito is sentenced to life in prison, his empire shattered. As we leave the courthouse, the sense of freedom is almost surreal. We've been through hell, but we've come out the other side stronger. Claire looks at me, tears of relief streaming down her face. Mike, I don't know how to thank you. You saved me, she says, her voice trembling. We saved each other, I reply, pulling her into a hug. And we've got a second chance. Let's not waste it. David claps me on the back, a grin on his face. Looks like the nightmare is finally over. Here's to new beginnings. Life slowly returns to normal, though the scars remain. Claire and I work to rebuild our relationship, finding strength in each other. The past haunts us, but it also reminds us of how far we've come. One evening, as we sit on the porch watching the sunset, Claire turns to me. Mike, there's something I need to tell you. I look at her, curiosity piqued. What is it? There's another reason I did what I did, she says, her voice soft. I found out I was pregnant a few months ago. I wanted to keep it a secret until I could fix everything. Her words hit me like a tidal wave. I stare at her, my heart pounding. Pregnant? Claire, why didn't you tell me? I was scared, she admits, tears welling up. But now, I want us to move forward, to build a life together. For our child. I pull her close, my emotions a whirlwind. We will, Claire. We'll make it through this. Together. As the sun sets, bathing us in its warm glow, I realize that the journey isn't over. It's just beginning. And this time, we'll face it together, stronger and more united than ever before. The past may have been filled with betrayal and danger, but the future holds the promise of new beginnings, and a love that can withstand anything.